In this video, we're going to talk about managing failure in your digital marketing campaigns. Now, failure, it's just a part of running digital campaigns. Marketers tend to get obsessed with best practices and the things that work, and we're always out there looking for the latest and greatest things so that we can avoid this horrible, horrible thing called failure. But that's really just not beneficial. I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs quit in the face of failure. They just don't realize that it's part of the whole process. And this is why it's kind of something near and dear to my heart, because we look at failure as something that will help us grow, something that we can learn from. In fact, there's a book called The Dip. It's by Seth Godin. And what he basically says, it's, the start of every marketing endeavor, it's always the most exciting part, right? So there's this huge, yay, we're going to be doing all this cool stuff. And you have a bunch of hope and dreams and plans. And then you start to work. And then all of a sudden you hit this dip, right? So failure starts entering the picture and it pushes you to the brink of quitting. So what he basically says here, to sum it up, is never quit something with great long-term potential just because you can't deal with the stress of the moment. And of course, that's kind of subjective. It's going to be up to you as to what that means. And every situation is slightly different. But at the end of the day, failure is all about reframing the mindset. Okay, so thinking about failure slightly differently. So how do you know if a situation is actually worth seeing through, or if it's something where you're like, okay, that's it. We've reached the point of diminishing returns and we should go a different direction? Ask yourself a couple of questions. Do you have enough resources? Do you have enough budget? Do you have the time for this? Do you have the team for this? Do you have the knowledge to actually see this thing through? If any of those come back no, maybe you need to rethink your strategy a little bit, including strategy just might be, hey, we need to go find somebody who does know how to do this stuff. So you consider all the work, all the effort that you're going to put in, and then decide, of course, if it's actually going to be worth it. But remember, at the end of the day, failure can teach you, right? Failure is one of the greatest teachers that is out there. We expect it. We kind of look for it because we don't learn anything if we're succeeding all the time. That means we're not pushing ourselves hard enough. We learn through failure. We learn from what doesn't work so that we learn how to do what does work even better. So how does failure teach you? You can start to know your audiences and their needs. This, of course, is through split testing. You can study various techniques that your successful campaigns, what they have in common, to see if you can kind of figure out, again, if you know what made you successful, you can be that much better at it. If you understand the kind of channels you should be using, this might be Facebook works really, really well, but you tried it with AdWords and AdWords just isn't your thing. Or maybe Twitter advertising is the next greatest thing for you. You just try things out so that you can learn that answer. And obviously you want to learn how to accurately measure your success. And this is when you're learning things like Google Analytics. Now, Google Analytics in the beginning can be super, super overwhelming because there's so much to it. And it'll feel like you're failing a lot because you'll get into all these numbers and just not realize what exactly it is you're looking at. But after a while, you start getting really, really good at it, and you can start to accurately measure what's happening on your site and make better decisions from a marketing standpoint. Now, let me ask you a question. Are you expecting perfection? If that's the case, you're going to drive yourself nuts and you're going to burn out. And if you tend to feel like that a lot, where you're just crazy burned out all the time, it might be because those expectations are a little too high. I mean, remember, along the way, you will fail. You have to fail, because if you don't fail, you can't learn. Just like when you started to walk, you fell down a whole bunch of times, probably hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, but you got back up and you kept trying, and you had a lot of people around you, of course, that were helping. And ideally you have those people around you now. But even if you don't, remember, failure is part of the process. You're supposed to make mistakes. When you start to ride a bike, again, same thing. You're going to fall down a few times. You're going to learn the balance that is this thing called online marketing. But once you get it down, right? Once you fall, you're going to learn a little bit better how to do it the next time. And you get better and you get better and you get better until you're the one that's helping other people. So for more information, of course, on this or any other topic, just visit us at SeriouslySimpleMarketing.com. We've got the blog post there, and we would love to see your comments. So please ask questions there. We'll get back to you as absolutely soon as we can. Thanks again for watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.